Yeah, Priyansh, go for it. Sai, is there Priyansh in the meeting, or does he have internet issues?
I think he's here. Let me just see. He might have a little bit of internet issues. I think he's just going to reboot and come back.
Hello.
So what we'll be going ahead with is something like a crisis which will be provided to each and every one of you. And you need to think out of the box to solve that crisis actually. That's where the whole marking decides. So yes, sir, can you scroll down a little? Right. So this is the crisis. So firstly, I'll be introducing the crisis to each and every one of you. So the year is 2469 and the World War III just took place. And this war actually shattered all the international treaties, all the
Sir, I think your voice is a little bit cracking or missing somewhere.
right. I'm audible. Apologies for the very same. Yeah. Cool. So continuing with it, all the international treaties and enforcement have been destroyed. And the reason because of it stands to be the mass supply shortage of clean water, lack of suitable living environment, and a hazardous poisonous leak in many parts of the world, which triggered a fight for better land and resources. All the human beings right now are living in a small compound cell where their life is completely online. Any doubts still here? Okay, moving ahead with it. Due to this World War III, over 78% of usable resources and suitable environment of living has been destroyed, and lands are filled with nuclear radiation, where only a small portion of livable land in the Southeast Asia is left to live, which leads this committee to set up to counter the possibilities of another war of upon that 22% of the unused land, and formulate better policies, plan and international enforcement to preserve the environment and make living on Earth possible again. So did this get your mind thinking actually how you can solve this problem? Now, the way we are expecting you to look at this is from a leader's perspective on how a leader would look at this problem, not just because of his benefit, how an actual leader for the benefit of the humanity would look at this problem and try to solve it. So this is your brainstorming time. Yes, sir, could you please scroll down? Moving ahead with how this all would be conducted. So beginning will be beginning in a very short time right after this, where the number one thing which would take place is your roll call. Just like you enter a classroom, जब आप क्लासरूम में जाते हो सबसे पहली चीज क्या होती है टीचर जो ऑफिशियली करता है? इट इज योर रोल कॉल लेना, राइट? जब आपका रोल कॉल ले लिया जाएगा, the next thing moving forward would be an opening statement, i.e. you would be requested to say or stance, yani what do you feel about the whole crisis, about the whole agenda within 30 seconds. So an opening statement is very short, Krish. It's just that we know what you feel about the agenda. That's it. Any doubts still here? None? Okay, moving ahead. The next thing which we have is a semi-moderated caucus. So semi-moderated caucus is actually nothing to be afraid of. बहुत ही भारी भरकम सा शब्द लग रहा होगा भी कई लोगों को, but it's actually really just a fancy word for a group discussion. It's just a group discussion which will be marked by the judges, nothing else. And in this group discussion only, you will be provided an informal time जहां पे you need to think of ideas and solution and pen them down on a document. Out of all the ideas you think in this brainstorming time, you need to pen them down in the last 15 to 20 minutes and send it to us. This is the whole major part of your brainstorming time. Think about ideas, write it down, send them to us.
After the discussion, that is.
Yeah, after the discussion, exactly. Moving ahead with the last, sir, document.
And are we like supposed to send a
Yes, sir.
document? Where?
Right, Nishant, sir. Sir, that will be explained to you further down the line. It's not completed. Moving ahead, we have the closing statements. Just similar to what opening statements were, a closing statement stands to be your remark upon the whole committee. What you feel could have been done, what you feel should be improved. The whole feedback of the committee should be given in a closing statement. Any doubts? This is the whole structure out of it. No. Yes, sir. Could you please scroll ahead? So yes, Nishant, sir.
So is this like gonna be a man-like format?
A little man-like format.
So like, would it be fine if I like refer to the committee as delegates or such?
Yes, sir. It would absolutely be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So here comes how you are expected to write the plan of action. It would be labeled as something known as a directive. Okay. So a directive is just a basic document, Google Doc, या फिर Word document, where you tell the committee your plan of action or solution to the crisis, like what you want to be done. It does not have a specific format, but the most preferred one has been shared here, which is to moderator from XYZ plan of action लिखना आपको, यानी आपका subject, what you think of it, and then your bullet points. Yeah.
Is the format clear to everyone?
Exactly. Any doubts? Anyone? Please go ahead.
So we only have to write one idea, or we can give more.
You can write multiple ideas, as many as you want.
So whatever you guys discuss and like the ideas that you bring during the group discussion, that is the semi-moderated caucus. After that is done, you will write this document with all your solutions and everything that you want the committee to, plan of action. That is for us to take as leaders or something like that. You will write that in this plan of action as bullet points, and they can be multiple. Okay.
Yes.
And this is just a format for it.
Yeah.
And will this document also contain the opening statement and closing statement as well, including of the plan of action?
No, sir.
Okay.
It does not. Yes, Anjali, ma'am, please go ahead.
I was asking that we in the document we have to write it in a group perspective, right? Like the group is writing, or just from individual.
You will write as an individual. Also addressing to the question which was raised by Gauri ma'am. Ma'am, providing country or stance actually limits your creativity to an individual foreign policy also, right? So what we want right now here is a free flow of thoughts where you can think outside the box without any restrictions. So you represent an individual who is on a global stage presenting solutions, nothing else.
Also, in the crisis itself, the world boundaries and everything have shattered in 2469, in 2469 in the year. So there is no country, no something like that. You're just a group of human beings who have taken it upon themselves to come with solutions for the crisis that the world is in right now.
Consider yourself as the 22% left on Earth.
Exactly. Now, moving ahead, where you need to share this, this will be shared on WhatsApp. I'll be dropping my number, or yes, sir can drop his number. He can send an hi, and you can send all the documents to him. Right? Cool. Now, this brings us to an end of all the rules and procedures. Now, with it, I would like to first of all introduce our esteemed judge, Mr. Divyam Goyal, who is present here. It would be really great for us if Judge Sir could please introduce himself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Priyansh. Hi, everyone. Great to be a part of this committee.
Hi, sir.
And looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your problem-solving skills. I'll just quickly introduce myself and let you guys be on your way. So I'm Divyam Goyal. I am based out of New Delhi, India. I've been born and brought up and raised here. And I did my engineering from Delhi Technological University, or it went by the name of Delhi College of Engineering a few years back. And yeah, currently I'm working at Everest Group, which is an advisory firm as an industry analyst. And apart from that, I also volunteer at a global foundation, which goes by the name of 180 Degrees Consulting in the social impact consulting space. My role there is to basically guide all the branches around the world as a global operations specialist. And yeah, this committee is something that is close to what I do, the work that I do at 180 Degrees Consulting. And yeah, really looking forward to hearing all of your thoughts in today's session.
It's really great to have you here, sir, with us today.
Thanks.
And with Divyam sir, it will be having Yas sir as the one who will be moderating the committee, and Divyam sir will be marking you all based upon. So I guess Yash sir can take over from here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so Priyansh, do we like give them time to understand the crisis, or do we immediately begin with the roll call?
It's about the delegates present here. Delegates, do you need any sort of preparatory time, or should we go ahead with?
Yes, I would prefer if there's we get like 5-10 minutes to prepare.
So could we give you time till 11:25? So at 11:25 we'll start the roll call.
Yes, that would be ideal.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we'll give you time till 11:25. You can research upon your topics, make your plan of action, and you can switch off your cameras for now. And at 11:25, you all can switch on your cameras, and I'll start with the roll call.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any doubts, you can put it in the chat box, or you can raise your hands. We shall address them. And the point of making the sending the plan of action, we would get back to you on that. As of right now, we'll just focus on the opening statements. So yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Are we going to divide it into groups or rooms?
No. You all are representing yourself. So you're just going to be discussing amongst a group. You're not a part of any group. So your thoughts and everything would be based on your individual research.
What is the timing for the semi-mod? Like how long will the semi-mod go for?
Sir, semi-mod would usually wait till all the documents are submitted. Directly after the opening statements, till all the documents are submitted, we'll be in a semi-moderated call.
Like, is there a time limit or such?
There's no particular time limit. But
Okay.
yes, there will be a cap till when you can send a documentation.
I don't quite understand the documentation part. Like, after the opening statement, we are expected to send it, or after the semi-mod?
After the semi-mod, you would be instructed to submit the plan of action. We would, once the opening statement is done, we shall get back to you on it, and we shall explain it in detail.
Okay,
for now, you can just research on the topic.
Okay, thank you. Also, related to like supposedly only Southeast Asia, there's livable land left. So like, are there humans left living only on Southeast Asia, or are there people still across the globe?
No. The only
In the opening
people-
statement, you have to give our thoughts, right, on this.
Yes, sir. So I'll be addressing all the doubts till 11:25. So we'll get with Nishant sir. Sir, considering this, there can be a possibility. It's upon you how you frame it out. But what all we know is that you are all the people who have been able to communicate together till this moment.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right? And who was the
Yeah.
next? Who was delegate with the next question?
Sushim asked the question. And yes, Sushim, you have to give your views on the topic and what do you think the discussion should be like. This is just an opening statement for the topic itself. Okay?
Everyone is actually free to ask the questions, any question at any time. Do not be shy. You ask even the silliest question if you have. It's only that after you ask question, we truly come to understand the agenda. Ananya ma'am, please go ahead.
Could you please once again repeat what exactly we have to do in the opening statement?
Okay. Opening statements is just your viewpoint or what you feel about the whole crisis. Let's say you want to motivate the delegates, so you do that in an opening statement. Let's say you want to tell the delegates that I want the community to go in this direction. That what you do in the opening statement, or what there are a lot of things that you can do, but majorly it's your stance and what you feel about the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is still visible.
Okay. Okay, so you have a minute left for the research at 11:25. Okay, yeah, it's 11:25. So we shall start the roll call. So is everyone ready?
It's a humble request if everyone can actually please switch on their cameras. It would be really great and interactive. Even I'll be doing that. All the OC members present and all the participants, please do so. It would be really add a cherry on the top. Yes, sir, you can please go ahead now.
Okay, yeah. So we shall start with the roll call. So once I take your name, you can just say present, and yeah, and keep your hands raised. So the people who have been calling. Okay, so first is Gauri Vadera. Okay. Navya,
Present.
Ananya Prasad,
Present.
Avishi Erin,
Present.
Dishita Arora,
Present.
Nishant Miglani,
Present.
Pritika Dhawan, Zahra Rajkotwala,
Present.
Anjali Gupta,
Present.
Isha Pagare,
Present.
Madhavrati,
Present.
Anshul,
Present.
Tanisha Gupta,
Present.
Vishwas Dipati,
Present.
Bhumika Kapasia, Siddhant Srivastava,
Present.
Sushim Sudhe,
Present.
Srishti Bhatia,
Present, sir.
Chesta Sharma,
Present, sir.
Nishal Vadva,
Present.
Akshat Bhalla, Akshat Bhalla, okay, Karishma Shrestha, Karishma Shrestha, Kashvi, Kashvi, Sonakshi Agarwal, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are
Yes,
audible.
sir.
Okay. Nuba Amin, Nuba Amin, okay, okay, present. Ronak Singh Bhutani, Ritesh, do we have Ritesh? No? Okay. So yeah. So the order in which I've taken your names, that is going to be the same order in which you're going to start your opening statements. So each person would get 30 seconds per speaker time to begin with their opening statement. Am I clear?
So exactly 30 or because in the doc it was sent 30 to 60.
I believe we should stick to the 30 limit because we have a lot of speakers on the line, and try to keep it at maximum 40.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Any other doubts? Everybody can lower their hands, and anyone with doubts can keep their hands raised. Priyansh, could you like set the timer for 30?
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah, please share your screen. Okay, any other doubt before we begin? Okay, so we'll let you know about the document process once the opening statements are done. Once again. So yeah, right now let's focus on the opening statements. Okay, so the first speaker we have is Gauri Vadera.
Is the screen visible?
Yeah.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
3, 2, 1, I'm ready.
Okay, you may.
No government on earth can make men who have realized freedom in their hearts salute against their will. A quote by Mahatma Gandhi ji, which would seem irrelatable, but I'll tell you how it's relatable. Who would have known that this quote would change the course altogether after some 500 years? And we will say, no government stands on the earth to make men who have realized depletion of resources in their hearts save them against their will. Today, I feel that we have entered the situation just like 200 years back when the pandemic struck and the world came online. The need of the hour is for the committee to work in synergy with the people, and as today everyone is equal and lacking out on the resources, need is to realize and work with our skills together. We are into this together, and if we accept this situation now, we'll be able to find a solution soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauri. Priyansh, if possible, just start the stopwatch. And people kindly like adhere to 45 seconds maximum per speaker time. So thank you, Gauri. Yeah, your stopwatch has started, right?
Yes, is there.
Okay. So the second speaker we have is Navya. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. The current crisis is a result of a war caused due to unequal distribution of resources. This fight over resources cannot continue since we are left with just 22% of what we had earlier. This is the time to unite. This is the time to look for solutions to build a peaceful society in the habitable lands of Southeast Asia. We just cannot continue to fight not just because the war has already damaged many things, but also to ensure that we have a peaceful life thereafter. Therefore, I request this committee that a first step should be to ensure that the habitable lands of Southeast Asia are made accessible to all, and that there should be no limit or there should be no war, and we must ensure peace.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So the next speaker we have is Ananya Prasad.
Good morning, everyone. This crisis means that we have to be very careful in how we proceed forward and manage our resources. Now is the best time for our society to abandon the perceived divisions of nationality and statehood for humanity to come together as one and address the crisis at hand. It is the time to abandon war and pursue peace. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker we have is Avishi.
Greetings to my fellow delegates. In my perspective, it's not different from what others have mentioned. We all know the situation of our Earth right now, and the only possible way out is to come together, to unite, and to move forward, put equal efforts without discrimination, and revive our Earth. Nature finds a way to pay back us. We have been destroying it for years, and now it's our time to correct our mistakes, work together, find solutions, and bring our Earth back to life the way it was. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker we have is Dishita Arora.
Hello, everyone. So as we know that this crisis came because we all were divided. We were not using our resources correctly. Water is the life which brings our earth to life. So that 22% of land in Southeast Asia needs to be together. We need to forget our nationalities, religions, and come together as one and fight this crisis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker we have is Nishant Miglani.
Yes, delegates of the world, we are in the aftermath of something that will no doubt go in history as the biggest crisis of humanity. 78% of the world's resources are supposedly useless now. We are now in need of an international body similar to the United Nations, however, with minor tweaks that I will elaborate on later. The only livable land that is left, supposedly, is only in Southeast Asia. So needless to say, all that is left of the human race need to take refuge there. We need to conduct a worldwide operation to look for survivors and arrange for their transportation. We also need to immediately deploy a coalition peacekeeping force in the remaining 22% of the livable land and make sure that this too is not ruined. And a committee that will be responsible for dividing the remaining resources between the people need to be created too. We are in desperate need for a government body or a body of authority at this moment. And I would like to ask the committee present here to debate and deliberate on forming the same. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Next speaker we have is Pritika Dhawan.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. It is truly said that great haste will cause great waste. Who would have thought a war would be conducted due to lack of resources? I feel that if another war will be conducted, the small amount of land left will also be destroyed. Thus, I request the committee to have leaders of all the countries assemble and plan in detail for the survival of the people rather than taking any decision in haste. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next speaker we have is Zaira Rajkotwala.
Okay. So, did everyone know that fresh water makes up only a small percentage of Earth's water and less than 1% of it is usable by humans? So, it is very critical to conserve water now, because if the human race does not conserve water, the supply of food and clean water accessible for human use may soon be disrupted. It is a distinct possibility that we can have another war. The United Nations Security Council is in charge of the world peace, but it's also our country's responsibility to take small efforts and preserve future generations.
Okay, thank you. The next speaker we have is Anjali Gupta.
Yes, a very good morning to everyone. As we are living in the year 2469, and the World War III have took place because the reasons of clean water shortage and living suitable environment. I never think about that it would happen. The World War III would happen just because of the natural resources. And now, as we have only 20% of area left, the Southeast Asia, so I would love to unite ourselves and have a discussion in peace and would get and without any war. Thank you and have a nice day.
Okay, thank you so much. Next speaker we have is Isha Pagare.
Hello everyone, my warm greetings to you all. So let's start. So I think that this thought is really very true, that there's enough for everybody's need, but not for anybody's greed. So we have to always, support the statement. And I think this is the time to reunite and come together and solve the problem. Because you may not always have a comfortable life and you will not always be able to solve all the world's problem at once. But, don't ever underestimate your importance you can have, because history has shown us the courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. So never lose hope. Storms may make people stronger and never last forever. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next speaker we have is Madhavrati.
Okay. Is this morning good? I guess I'll just give you my salutations for this morning. So, after around 500 years, here we are, another world war. This time, the most devastating one. Let me share a story with you. One time, I went to Goa, India. The waves rose, and I thought, oh my god, it is a serious problem. But then the native said, it isn't a problem, it is a situation, and we'll get through it. At that time, even he himself wasn't sure that everything will be okay. But that sentence relieved her heart. And here I say, everything will be fine. We'll get through it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the next speaker we have is Anshaj.
Good morning to the leaders assembled here. To say we did not see this war coming is an understatement. The constant exploiting of resources led us to a situation like this. People were acting like brittle horses. If we all remember, we had a taste of this situation in the year 2020 due to a virus outbreak. Instead of dwelling upon our past or how many resources we had, now we need to make sure that the remaining 22% of our essential, invaluable resources are made to the best way possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the next speaker we have is Tanisha Gupta.
Good morning, everyone. This World War III just take place. We are in a very hard situation right now. 78% of usable resources and sustainable environment of living has been destroyed. Now, only this left work in a group with humanity. Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here. It is what we fight with when we all lost. So I hope we fight this with peacefully and make this world like past for the future generation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next speaker we have is Vishwas Dipati.
Good morning, everyone. Humanity has now brought itself towards the brink of collapse, standing on the horizon of its own extinction. Our most glorious and advanced technologies even couldn't save us. And we were naive enough to think that doomsday will come as an alarm to us that we can snooze anytime we want. It is now in the hands of few chosen ones to now decide and guide us through this apocalypse in this worst of times. It is now up to us to lead us to a new future in the unknown and to decide our future. Fate is not decided, but it is what we make for ourselves. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the smartest, but the ones who are the most responsive to change, said by the man who gave us the theory of evolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next speaker we have is Bhumika Kapasia.
A warm morning to everyone. So I will start with the Mahatma Gandhi saying that he said that it is sufficient for everyone's need, but not for the greed. So it means that it is sufficient that we can satisfy our needs, but it is not sufficient to satisfy someone's greed. And that in COVID-19 we have seen that we have cut lots of trees and make buildings of instead of the trees. So there is a lack of oxygen cylinders. Also, no artificial cylinders were left. So there were lots of dead bodies were there because of no oxygen cylinder. So we should not deplete our resources because of our greed, because of making new inventions by depleting natural resources. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Next speaker we have is Siddhant Srivastava.
3, 2, 1. Thank you for the recognition. Delegates, the problem we see now has been rising from time immemorial. World War I, World War II, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, and now this. I will not motivate you towards doing something, nor will I give you false hope. The situation you see currently is in the eyes in front of you. Human race has always been responsive to change and has constantly keep pushing itself together. And that is what I ask. 78% of resources have been depleted and we're left with only a fraction of what we had before. So I implore you to see reason, and I implore you, request you to join hands and fight this together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next speaker we have is Sushim Sude.
Yes. I would like to quote that war is what happens when language fails. Only the dead have seen the end of the war. The war and conflict has its roots in the failure of establishing resources and facilities. It changes the economical balance. I feel that the conflict and wars destroyed many resources which were there initially. The future will suffer due to such wars, and it caused far greater devastation on the environment and puts stress on ecosystem and the environmental degradation. A nation's survival depends on the resources from the environment. There has to be law to protect damage or destruction. The Environmental Modification Convention, laws of war, human rights, and laws of and local law can limit the crisis. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the next speaker we have is Srishti Bhatia.
Can you see me?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay. Hello, my friends. The destruction, the war, it should all end. We humans always like to divide and rule, but it's time for us to join our hands and survive through this crisis. We have to make our earth a livable place again, where we all could breathe in fresh air again. It's not over yet. We still have a chance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker we have is Chesta Sharma.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Okay, so good morning, everyone. The World War III has just took place, and it is very terrible. And all human beings are living in a small compound still. And 78% of usable resource in suitable environment of living has been destroyed. We all have to be together, and we must not lose our faith in humanity. And strength does not come from physical capacity, it comes from an indomitable will and together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next speaker we have is Nishant Miglani.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I am Nishchal. So, as we know that it's 2469 and the war has struck the world really hard. So it's advised that we should not dwell on the past. We should not dwell on the past and then start to think about our future. My perception is to look forward for the people that are surviving in Southeast Asia without wasting a single ounce of any kind of resources. A common body must come ahead and join hands so that they can plan out how to use every single resource wisely. We should focus on the survivable land more and taking out the water and then refining it from oceans like Bay of Bengal for drinking use will be advised because they are the nearest ones in Southeast Asia. So we need to join up our hands and save the remaining humanity and save Mother Earth.
Okay, thank you. The next speaker we have is Nuba Amin.
Yes. Good morning. As we observe, the world has performed well at challenging times with the full spirit that we will also overcome this. Let me go on with my suggestion. As a leader, I'll be forming a strict backup corps where the main function of them will be duplicating the limited resources by all means with all the advices from the scientists and life advisors. And by doing this, the humanity should also increase and the emotion of the responsibility will also bring a brotherhood affectionate on each of them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I guess now we have exhausted with all the speakers. So this is like a final call for everyone. So the people who didn't, I believe, be present during the roll call. So this is like the final announcement. So Akshat Bhalla, are you there in the meeting? Okay, no. Then Karishma Shrestha.
Could you please clarify again for the semi-mod?
Could you repeat your question?
Could you again clarify about the semi-mod?
Yeah, I'm getting to it. Just before that, I just want to take a final roll call. Do we have Kashvi, Sonakshi Agarwal, Ronak Singh Bhutani, and Ritesh in the meeting? If not, then we'll proceed with the semi-mod. So I believe they aren't there. So we can start with the semi-mod. So Priyansh, do we like explain it to them again?
Yes, sir. I guess that would be really helpful for all the delegates.
Okay, so so how many people had doubts regarding the semi-mod? You can raise your hands.
I have a doubt regarding the document.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. That document.
Okay, so we are expecting for you to write a plan of action. Now, a plan of action is basically the ideas or the solutions that you propose in this committee during the semi-mod. So, for example, if this is a crisis committee about conservation of uh, fishes, so like you may propose certain solutions as to like how should we conserve the fishes. So like you can propose a basic plan of action. They can be 2 plan of actions, they can be 5, they can be 10, 15, how many n number of plan of actions you propose. So whatever you're going to be discussing as an individual in this committee, everything should be plotted down in points in the plan of action. If I'll just share my screen again.
So like a resolution?
Yeah, like a resolution.
And when and how, when and where are we supposed to send it?
Okay, so by 12:30, we want you all to keep your plan of actions ready. Once you're done at 12:30, we would explain how to where to share it and how to share it. So by 12:30, like simultaneously as the event is going on, you can constantly keep typing your plan of action in a Word file, and you can keep it to yourself.
Okay, got it.
Any other doubts?
Thank you, Siddhant. Yes,
So
Siddhant,
we
please
have
go
to
ahead.
write right now.
You can start them once the semi-moderated caucus starts and the solutions come in pouring, right? So the only thing which you need to focus upon while writing a directive is writing solutions in it. Writing your thoughts and solutions without any restriction particularly.
And we have to send that on WhatsApp, right?
Right, sir. Usually it was preferred WhatsApp, but I guess we are also operating alongside Moodle. So we'll update you according to it. If you are expected to
Okay,
send
so
it on
once we are
Moodle,
ready with our, once we are ready, you will just tell us where to send it, right?
yes, sir, definitely will do that. Also, Madhav sir, yes, directives are nothing if they are just your solutions which are presented in a document form. Okay. Total time and individual time for semi mode. Gauri ma'am, there is no individual time in semi mode. It's just a group discussion, and a semi moderated caucus is somewhat an informal session which is just been marked by the moderators upon each and every activity which you do.
Just the only difference that we are going to propose here is before you speak, kindly raise your hands so we can recognize you, and then you
We
can
can
start.
also hold a recognition sheet. Exactly.
So
Siddhant sir,
we have to
yes.
speak also and write also, right?
Yeah, that's your wish, please. I guess someone raised their hand earlier. Siddhant sir, was that you?
Yes, sir, but my doubt got cleared up. Thank you.
Okay, sir, not an issue. That's great to hear. Anyone else with any doubt, please go ahead. Realizing that it's clear, yes, sir, you could please take over for the formal proceedings.
Okay, so any delegate who would like to begin with the semi-moderated caucus, you can raise your hand. We can begin. Anyone can raise the motion?
Wait, we are supposed to raise a motion right now?
Yeah, you can raise a motion for a semi-moderated caucus and we can begin.
Okay, and just to clear, the semi-mod, will it be like formal, like you'll recognize us to speak, or will it be sort of informal, like the group discussion we had?
So it's an informal group discussion, but for clear this one recognition, we would like you to raise your hands so that we understand who's speaking. Yeah. So anybody who would like to begin with semi-moderated caucus?
I would like to raise a motion to open the floor for semi-mod.
Okay, granted. So now we're open for a semi-moderated caucus. Any speakers who would like to start? Okay, you can raise your hands, the people who would like to. So we'll make the list as to. Okay, so first we have Gauri, then we have Vishwas, then we have Nishant, then we have Anjali. Okay, any more speakers who are interested to speak? They may raise their hands.
Point of personal privilege.
Yeah, go on.
May the delegate be excused for a few minutes, please.
Yeah, sure. Any other speakers who are interested to speak, they may raise their hands. Let me remind you, this is an informal session, so you may speak at whatever time you get, but like just for better conduction of the event, we wish that you raise your hand so that we recognize you better for marking. Okay, so Zara.
So what exactly we have to speak right now? I'm not understanding.
So whatever the crisis you have in hand, you can share your views, you can share your solutions, you can
Okay.
deliberate with any other individual as to like what about their solutions, as to like how correct or incorrect are their resolutions,
Okay,
and you
sure.
can discussion on it. You may raise new topics. Okay, so we have after Zara we have Srishti, then we have Isha. Okay, any more people who are willing to speak? Okay, Nuba.
Okay, I think we can begin with the speakers and we'll recognize more as they come. Is that fine
Yeah,
here?
just give me a minute. I'm just writing. Okay, so the floor goes as first. Gauri is going to speak, then Vishwas, then Nishant, then Anjali, then Zara, then Shrishti, then Isha, then Nuba, then Pritika, then Dishita, and then Tanisha. So yeah, Gauri, you have the floor.
Excuse me
You may
one
begin.
second. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
have a
tell me.
doubt. So this is a debate, right?
This is not a debate. This is a group discussion.
Okay, we got it.
Yeah. So yeah, you
Thank
can lower your hands, everyone. So you may start. Gauri, you may start.
Thank you for the recognition, Chair. And as the other delegates have been talking about the solutions, like getting united and working together. So here are some of the solutions I would like to suggest to all of you. As we have already come online, we should exploit the inexhaustible technology of our generation, like we already exploited the exhaustible resources. This way, we will be able to get out of the problem even if we can't get out of these compound cells. And also, the committee should formulate some laws to cater to the demands of the people and the policies to stop inequality. And as our ultimate goal is to live and heal the ailing planet, it's again the time we'll have to cover our nose to breathe better, like we did before. And the best way is to make sure that no one's harmed by ensuring mask availability for all during this nuclear radiation time. And also, as we see, people are fighting for oxygen resources in the chat box, and in reality also, we need to realize that we are the 22% that stay, and thus we need to ensure the 100% for recovering of all. And also, we must not forget the war was because of the resources, which in the end ironically led to the depletion of all the resources. SDG goals that were introduced and achieved in 2013 need to be brought up again with the need of the hour, and sticking to them will surely bring us all a fruitful outcome. And as we say that money can't buy the resources, this has been proved. Thus, the money we are having should be deposited like a resource itself for future economy rather than creating a sense of superiority or inferiority. Thank you, and I look forward to hear the opinions of all.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any questions for Gauri? Okay, so should I assume that the hands raised are the questions who would like to ask Gauri? If not, you may lower your hands. So if you have any questions to ask or like anything to interject, you can kindly put it in the chat box or you may raise your hand. Okay, so Vishwas, do you have a question to ask?
Yes, I want to interject by saying that how will N95 mask will be able to, keep the radiation out, or you reduce the percentage or the probability of infection that a human can carry while in a post-apocalyptic world.
Thank you for your question, Vishwas. And I never mentioned N95 mask here, but I did mention mask. And masks are basically for us to breathe better and like inhale and exhale pure air. Like you remember in 2020, we had this pandemic, so we were supposed to wear masks. So this is the situation yet again. And thus, I think that it will help us and the people who are occupied in this situation.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay, any questions? Anything to
Yeah.
interject?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, go on.
Ma'am, how will masks help us breathing? Isn't it ironically the case that masks, in fact, like reduce the amount of air that we take in,
Um,
like a
I
95 mask or
think
any masks whatsoever?
I think that the particles that are in the air that harm us, and if we take or inhale those particles, that will harm the human body.
Ma'am,
This
nuclear
will.
radiation is not particles in the air.
I never mentioned that we need masks for nuclear radiation. I said that masks for a better breathing.
In your speech, you had said that it protect us from nuclear radiation and such. Anyways, I don't think there's need to debate on this matter.
All right, no problem.
I believe I saw an hand raised. Was it there for any question or any doubt? Okay, seeing none, so we may proceed with the next speaker, that is Vishwas. Vishwas, you may begin.
Yes, I would like to first raise the issue that as we have entered into a post-apocalyptic world, and the resources that are available to us are very scarce in nature. So I would like to first, if we'll come out of the world, and I would like to first secure the most habitable places that are available by fencing it using the available tools and materials or the metals that are not corroded from radiation. Because if there is any danger out there in that world, then it will be our first and only line of defense against them. Second, I would like to purify the available water or the salt water that is available from the sea by using the process of desalinization, or if available, or if in the bunker there was some purified bottled drinking water, I would like to first secure it or stock it somewhere so we can use it for later use. And third, I would like to examine my current surroundings carefully for any signs of available life is there, because uh, we will not usually find some we can say organisms in the surroundings, but yet to take a special note of our environment, we should do that. And we should also test the soil and water radiation that may be present in the water around the bunker. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions, any interjections? If yes, you may ask.
I have a question. So Vishwas, you are giving us solutions to how we can continue living in the bunker. Don't you think the long-term solution is that we move to the habitable zones of Southeast Asia or such?
As I mentioned earlier, the bunker was in the topic. It was not clearly mentioned where was this habitable zone situated. However, I am assuming that it was situated somewhere in the Southeast Asian zone. And yes, as I mentioned earlier also, that we must secure the most habitable place. So yeah, I'm aligning to what you are saying and agreeing.
Okay. Thank you for clearing it up.
Welcome. Thank you for the question.
Okay, so the next speaker we have is Nishant. Just a suggestion before you begin. Everybody, you can begin with writing your directives, that is the plan of action, simultaneously while you're giving your speeches. Once your speech is done, you can immediately open a Word file, and according to the format we have given it to you, you can begin writing your plan of action. So it'll be easy for us to, take your submissions also on time. Thank you. Nishant, you may begin.
Well, delegates of the World Committee, first and foremost, we need to take refuge in Southeast Asia. The situation of living in the bunkers is obviously a temporary one. Second, we need a government authority, an international committee, a United Nations, something, right? Something to guide us, something to help us, right? And that's what I propose, that we debate and deliberate on a committee that will help dividing the resources between the remaining people. Next, we also need to conduct a census, so we know how many people are there in Southeast Asia and the survivors among that scattered elsewhere. We also need to launch a rescue mission for all those survivors that may be out there somewhere. I would also like to bring the attention of this committee towards the possibility of Antarctica, something that used to be a barren wasteland, but has now become habitable because of global warming and such. Since no nation has a clear presence over there, it's unlikely that there has been any damage done to it. But of course, since we can't be sure, I would suggest launching expeditions there. Antarctica has a lot of fossil fuels that can be used as a temporary source in this post-apocalyptic world. And plus, if possible, then it can be used as an agricultural place also. Hence, I would invite everyone here to debate and deliberate on possible solutions, long-term solutions for the world. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, so if you have any questions, you may begin. Navya, your hand was raised first. You may ask.
Sir, I would like to ask a question. Like you mentioned, the habitability of Antarctica. So, in the crisis, we are already given that only the Southeast Asian part is habitable. And as for the global warming that makes Antarctica a place where we can live, I think the biggest ozone hole is also there, and we cannot really afford to live there if we are living under UV rays. So, in other places we have nuclear radiation and there we have UV. So I don't think that can be.
Firstly, about the ozone hole, it was a concern back in the 2000s. Even like today in 2020, the ozone hole is shrinking rapidly. And as for the habitability of Antarctica, sure, in the crisis it was mentioned Southeast Asia, but I'm just giving a possibility. Maybe it's livable out there, right? Maybe, just maybe.
Okay, we can surely take that in consideration.
Can I
Oh,
continue?
yeah, Zara, you may ask a question.
Yeah, so Nishant, as you mentioned about living in Antarctica, so actually we're not supposed to go to Antarctica. Humans are not supposed to live there because when we breathe, when we let out carbon dioxide, that's not good for the planet because it harms the planet. So it's not really good for us to go. But there are still people still go to Antarctica, but we're actually the more the people go there, the more it's actually getting destroyed.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. Do we not breathe out carbon dioxide right now? Do we not breathe out carbon dioxide if we are living in Asia or in Africa or
That's the thing.
wherever, right?
So when we so actually in Antarctica, right, because of I'll tell you. So there it's like here how we have CFCs, right, which are harmful.
Ma'am, CFCs are not used anymore.
No, for the AC after because of the AC.
CFCs are not used anymore. They are not being emitted anymore. And plus CFCs, they don't damage Antarctica itself, but rather the ozone layer above it. And which has the ozone hole is now shrinking, as I mentioned.
But actually when we do breathe out like when we breathe out carbon dioxide in Antarctica, it's like not good.
Ma'am, I don't know how it's not good. That doesn't make sense. We breathe out carbon dioxide everywhere. Why would only Antarctica get affected?
Is it okay if I continue the debate in the chat? Like I'll send you the resource.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can
just
I
kindly
ask
remember
delegate
if you
question?
have a lot of yeah.
Can I ask delegate a question?
Yeah, we'll just go according to the order, the people who raise their hands first. So after Zara, we have Vishwas asking the question. Just a doubt is like this is a group discussion. You have to deliberate. We don't have to face accusations. You all are in the same boat. So like you have to just propose solutions for the same. This is forming into more of a MUN debate, which we don't want you to. We want you to brainstorm more solutions in a friendly manner. So yeah, kindly look up to that at the same time. So yeah, adding on to that, Vishwas, you may ask your question.
Thank you. I would like to ask that how organization in these desperate times would help. Actually, I think I would rather give emphasis on like the people who have survived from the apocalypse. I would rather give emphasis on giving more resources to the engineers, doctors, and the people who are able to create something out of nothing that is available to us in such times of resources. I would not give my utmost importance to just forming an organization of politicians, people who can debate or just fight for some limited resources.
Or we cannot live in anarchy. We need a government. We need a government to divide the resources. And I'm not saying that we abandon doctors, engineers, and such. Of course, they are our only hope, right? the scientists and such. I'm saying we need to divide the resources available, the food resources, agriculture, whatsoever, right? People need to take refuge in Southeast Asia. There needs to be a census in Southeast Asia. A government needs to form, whether that be a local government made of local leaders of the refugees and local Southeast Asian leaders, or whether it be an international coalition or a democratically elected one. The democratically elected one is unlikely, since there's no time for democracy. But we can't live in anarchy. We need a government. That's my main point.
Actually, after apocalypse, it is usually the probability of an anarchy system is more, because only few people are left to.
So anarchy will just promote more violence.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, I guess Siddhant, you can ask a question.
Thank you for the recognition, sir. As the delegate stated that we may launch expeditions to Antarctica, but how will the delegate plan to cross the radiation barriers that are prevalent in the world as of now? Secondly, Antarctica is mostly consisted of ice caps and ice sheets, and some of them were melting due to global warming for a very long time, and the current scenario, which has introduced radiation into the world, has boosted the amount of melting that was previously seen. So how does the delegate plan to counter that?
Sir, firstly, as for transportation, like how will we deal with the radiation and nuclear radiation and such, we are going to have to figure that either way. We can't continue living in bunkers for the rest of our lives. We are forced to take refuge in Southeast Asia. So we will have to figure out a way to travel there. And so we will have to figure out a way to protect ourselves from the radiation. So that problem will have to be solved, right? Whether or not we are going to Antarctica or not. As for the ice caps and such, you stated, as I stated, like maybe it's habitable now because of the global warming and such. And even if it's not, we can still like access fossil fuels from there, right? It's still a valuable resource, especially in this post-apocalyptic world, right? So I'm just giving a possibility here. I'm not saying that we totally 100% have to go to Antarctica. I'm just saying a possibility here, right? I'm just putting out that variable towards the committee.
Ansaj, you may ask your question.
Yeah, thank you for the recognition. I would like to ask, like he mentioned, that we can start expeditions to different areas apart from Southeast Asia. So how is he able to allocate resources for that expedition? Like there is a very little probability of finding a very inhabitable area. So are you willing to take that chance even when only 22% of our valuable resources are left?
Sir, I'm not giving the option of expeditions and such as an immediate solution, right? I'm just giving, of course, the highest priority will be towards distributing resources, right? Consolidating the remaining resources and figuring out a way to travel to Southeast Asia safely, right? I'm just giving it as a future option, like a future alternative. Maybe, I'm just giving an option, like maybe there's something out there we can find. We can't trust, like we know we have all the data right now. Maybe not even Antarctica, maybe it's somewhere else on Earth there's a habitable zone left. We can't have all the data. So I'm just giving that possibility out there. And of course, it won't be the highest priority. The highest priority will obviously be to take refugee in somewhere we know is safe, that is Southeast Asia.
Okay, any more interjections to add? Yeah, Navya, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, so I'll just add to what Sir has mentioned already. So we can definitely look into this, that Antarctica might be considered as a future possibility. But before that, our priority should be securing and consolidating the land that we already have in our hands. So that can be done by a process called shielding, in which we are building barriers of lead, concrete, and water to give protection from the high levels of radiation that we are surrounded with. So I think the priority at this moment, at this particular moment, is to consolidate the land that we have in Southeast Asia.
100% agree.
Okay, so mind if we move on to the next speaker if there are no interjections to add. Then the next speaker we have is Anjali. So Anjali, you may begin.
Yeah, can I have 1 minute? Just a second.
Yeah, sure. Till then, I'll just give you two reminders. One is that you can simultaneously keep updating your plan of actions. And the second thing is like the chat box is also available, so you can deliberate with amongst yourself on the chat box itself.
We need to type or speak about the plan of action.
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
We have to speak or type about the plan of action.
So you have to make a plan of action via Word. So you'll have to type it. And at the same time, during your semi-moderated caucus, whatever you're going to be writing, that's the thing you're going to be speaking now.
Sir, I have another doubt.
Yeah.
Like there are certain things that are not mentioned in the crisis. So can we assume something to be, something from our own hypothetical imagination?
Yeah, of course. Like we haven't added everything because like it's up to you guys to take up the discussion and keep the structure of the debate intact. So yeah, it's your call as to like how do you want the debate to go as.
So can we take in consideration things that are not mentioned, like the level of development, for example, we don't know of how developed the technology is at that time, how we explored other planets at that time. So
yeah, we can do that.
You can do that. It's like it's 2469. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Okay. How's the list of speakers being decided who will speak next?
Yeah, so after Nishant, we have Anjali, Zara, Srishti, Isha, Nuba, Pritika, Dishita, and Tanisha. So do you want to add your name?
Yeah, sure.
Even I want to add my name to that list.
Okay, the people who want to speak, you can raise your hands. So let me add you.
Guys, even if you do not get per se a chance to speak, given the time limit and the discussion that we are going with, please make sure that your plan of actions are ready and also that you can deliberate on your solutions in the chat box itself. Also, when you're asking questions to the delegates, if you have anything related to that solution, say the speaker has mentioned, then feel free to put your point forward there as
well. Yeah, your chats have been well read and noted, and they are also marked accordingly. So don't think like if you're not getting a chance to speak, your solutions which are going to be proposed, if you put it on your chat also are going to be noted. So don't worry about that. So yeah, so the updated list is after Tanisha is Anshaj, Avishi, Madhav, and Siddhansh. Anyone else interested to speak? Okay.
Sushima also.
Okay. So yeah, you may lower down your hands. So the speaker that we have next is Anjali. So Anjali, you may begin.
Yeah, thank you for the recognition. So yeah, first question arrives is of course why do we have a shortage of clean water and suitable living environment, and why do we have a World War III onto it? So for coming from it, I think we should do the first thing we should do is reunite and make and see took care of the scarce resource we have. We have to see how many resources we have, and we can protect them. And after looking after them, the southeast area, Asia, we have many people, many delegates have said in their opening statements that we should be there and we should reunite in peace, and we should stay together with peace without any war. So I think that should be a great option to do. But we should have some laws and policies related to it, and we can go without any discrimination and inequality. So that's all what I think. Thank you.
Okay, Siddhansh, you may ask.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't lower my hand.
It's all right. Madhav, do you have any doubt, or do you want to ask any question? Madhav?
No, sir. Actually, I didn't lower my hands.
Okay, I'm so sorry. It's all right. So if we don't have any questions, even if you have, you can even type it in the chat box and you can deliberate over there. So the next speaker we have is Zara. Zara, you may begin.
Yes, so everyone, I want to start an active discussion as it was said that if there's a world war again in the future, how we can prevent it. So we can start by, so I'll first introduce what I'm supposed to say. So in today's urban communities, we face a lot of common problems such as irregular and unsound urban growth. The escalation of this problem is unavoidable in this order, and the economy environment balance is ignored, and economic interests are commonly prevailed. So in urbanization, the density is expanding in tandem with the recent population rise in urban areas. So we can start plans. So there are actually certain plans already, and these are organized in accordance with the resolution on the higher level regional or environmental orders plan, and which plan and bring details concerning the implementation. So development plans, we can start the development plans, which are spatial arrangements which are developed on the present map so as to find the best solutions that we provided among urban functions such as residing, working, resting and transportation. And by meeting all of these social cultural needs, we can provide good quality of life by offering the required standards of living to the residents of particular locality. And if we do that, I don't think there'll be a need for fighting and for a war that is only in the end going to destroy everything. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions, any interjections? You may raise your hand, or continue on the chat box. Seeing none, the next speaker is Srishti. So Srishti, you may propose your discussion.
Yes. Hello. So there would be a limited amount of resources with us, so we have to use them very digitally. We have to find alternatives. We have to create some kind of nutrition bars to fulfill our body needs so that we could stay healthy at these times. We would have been grown so much in the technology part. So instead of us going outside and getting stuff, we could send our robots. Because at the times of nuclear radiation, we must stay inside. We could use solar energy for keeping us warm or for electricity purpose. I know there will be less amount of sunlight, so we have to optimize whatever we have. And as for water, we could use oceans, glaciers, and technology for making it portable for us. We have to survive at all costs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any interjection? Any questions? Feel free to ask. Seeing none, we'll proceed with Isha. Isha, you may begin.
Yes, so hello everyone, my warm greetings to you all. So I personally think that today's situation which we are facing is particularly stressful because it's really hard to predict how things will develop and our circumstances are changing rapidly. So, this can leave us feeling very powerless, like we are no longer in control of our own lives. And as this is the case in many aspects of our lives, there are things we can't control in this situation. So this include like the actions, reactions of other people, how long the situation will last, and what might happen in future. I think that these things might leave us feeling helpless, but in reality, there are still a lot of things we can have power in our own hands to do it. Even during this trying times, redirecting our energy towards these things will help us deal effectively with this situation. I personally think that when the any crisis happens, basically the crisis which we are facing right now, unemployment is created in a very large number. So I think once the economic not industrialization, but the economic wave should come, and employment should be created, it should be recreated. Yes, maybe it would be in any of the fields. And I think that in this things, in this world of online, we are having lots and lots of time with us. We are not able to get it out, but we are having a lots of time. If we prepare a daily routine, in that we are going to see how much time we are having. So I think each and every individual of a country or a world is having the time to just innovate something with. And I think if we try to reunite and try to remove the solutions, it is really possible to again get the world at the place where we were in these last years. So I guess this is the thing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any interjections, any questions? If yes, you may please ask. If not, you can continue on the chat box. So the next speaker we have is Nuba. So Nuba, you may start.
A very good afternoon. So it's a very huge problem. So there is least hazardful ones and most hazardful ones. So I would like to propose my two motions. Number one is building a backup where to make it less stressful, we can divide the responsibilities and work on that. And when we look back in the year 2020, the COVID period, like the main problem which people faced apart from this COVID virus was the mental stage. Many people have the situation of mental depression, and also now when we look now, there is only less life and we have to conserve them, and they are only our hope. So we have to do something in order to, we should not allow to fall their mental stage, so that we can work together. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any interjections, any questions you may ask right now? If not, then we may proceed with the next speaker, that is Pritika.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. The first step would actually be to gather the leaders of all the country and then have them explain this, that if another war is caused, it won't benefit anyone, right? So then we will have to create one administrative body to help the people. So the first step would be to find resources like fresh water, food, medicine, and safety suits for if things get worse. And then we'll have to collect them all together and equally distribute them. And it is also very important that those resources are stored properly and protected. In case livable structures are destroyed, maybe create a camp, or maybe even some airplanes or helicopters used in the war, they can be used for people to reside in. And then finally, when there is a temporary place for people to live, as of now, the human beings from the compound cell can be brought to the portion of livable land. And then later on, for the long term, side by side, scientists, doctors, and engineers can work on the problems. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions, any interjections, any discussion? If yes, you can ask now. If not, you can continue on the chat box. So the next speaker is Dishita. So Dishita, you may continue.
Yeah. So hello everyone. I think that there where life is, there would be water too. So I guess there would be an adequate amount of water in the 22% of land which is left. People who have survived the war need to be given the importance and have to be brought to the 22% of land and resources left. The priority should be decontamination of the lost land, and the left 22% should be rationalized and protected from further damage. I think the technology we have in 2469 will help a lot in decontamination. I think using the online mode as an advantage to connect all over the world, to bring everyone and together and to cure our Mother Earth. I think to bring the economy back up, we can offer job opportunities, since there would be many jobs and work to be done. As Nova mentioned, we need to keep people busy so we are not at risk of shattering sanities, and there are many responsibilities and work that could be done. So let's all of us come together and cure our Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any interjections, any questions you may ask? Yeah, Gauri, you may ask.
Thank you for the recognition. Dishita, I would like to ask you, as you were talking about generating jobs. So I agree with you, but what kind of jobs would you like to generate? Could you please elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, like as I said, that we could help people by not risking their depression, not making them. We can cheer up them, and there can be many jobs for decontamination of the lost land.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay, any other? Okay, Srishti, you may ask.
I would like to ask, why do we need jobs at this time of survival? Because we have to survive, and I don't see a point of like people starting to have job.
I think that for survival, we also need our economy, and for economy, we need the jobs.
But right now, we are at the point where we don't have anything right now. We have very limited resources. So don't you think it would be better for us not, instead of finding jobs, we could do whatever we can? I think economy is not more important than than us surviving.
Yeah, but still the economy and of every country is very important for further uses as well.
But if we will not be alive, then what are we going to do with the economy?
But still, we need the economy because the jobs would be are to help us in living.
There will be very less things then. I don't see a point of we having an economy instead of focusing on what we have to do.
Okay, Nishant, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, you mentioned decontamination of the land. How exactly do you plan on doing that?
Are we allowed to answer someone else's question?
Yeah, you can, or you can even keep your, you can even suggest it in the chat box.
Okay.
Sorry, my connection dropped. I'm back now.
Actually, I was asking, you mentioned decontamination of the land. How exactly do you plan on doing that?
I think with the technology we will have in 2004, 69, I think we can do a lot of stuff.
All right, so you're basically just assuming that we have the technology to deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I guess we can proceed to the next speaker, that is Tanisha.
Good morning, delegates. I'm Tanisha Gupta. So as we all know, our resources are nearly to an end. Only 22% of land is left. There is employment. We are in a crisis right now. We all should think with our mind and smartly. There is a possibility for another world war. For not doing another world war and destroy our whole world, we all should come together, reunite, and live together in the land that is left, and focus on all the problems one by one, not everyone in once. We should start with food, water, and oxygen because these are the most important thing for our living. We all are 22% of people left in this whole world. The nuclear radiation is so harmful for us. As radioactive, material decay or breakdown, the energy released into the environment can kill us. It can directly kill our cells or it can kill our DNA. So, till the time we cannot clean it from our environment, we should wear shield, mask, and PPE kit and uh, a special suit for special suit. And then second thing, we need to clean water because we can't live one day without a water, so we should clean water by distillation process. I know that is hard, but we have to do it because water is so important for us. And one thing that everyone said, that we need a government is important to make all of the decisions. So I think we should select some people for making the decisions for our world that is left, and that will be done in the process voting. Every person in this meeting should select one person that should take an decision. We all have to make a step forward for making our world livable again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, due to constraint of time, I believe, if possible, could you add your questions in the chat box? Because we have 6 more speakers left. And yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, if you can like deliberate on the chat box. So the next speaker we have is Anshaj.
Yes, may I start?
Yeah.
Good morning to one and all present here. I would like to begin that there are two types of policymakers. One which are good policymakers and one those are extraordinary. So we need to be the extraordinary policymakers here. We need to make sure that the generation or the humanity is sustained on the life. So for these, I would like to suggest we should start by controlling the population, because when population increases, the need for resources automatically increases. To prevent this, we can use techniques such as family planning. Like for example, if a family is only able to cater the needs of one child, why will they go for another child, right? The second idea I would like to suggest is resource multiplication. We need to ensure that resources are increasing at a plausible rate. We can start by using efficient ways of agriculture because food is a necessity. We can use HYV seeds, drip irrigation. Also, when power is required to make use of our machinery, we could use solar energy. And before if someone interjects, yes, solar energy can work in a radiated environment. Also, come on, we managed to reduce our resources from 100% to 22%. Can't we figure out to make a radioactive protection suit? Also, I would like to suggest that an organization should be formed in which the majority power is given to the countries where there are resources available. So they have a upper say in whatever their decisions are to be made, as it is their resources. Mostly the developed nations have exhausted their resources in the forms of war. With that, I would like to rest my case.
Thank you so much. So the next speaker we have is Avishi. Just an announcement, the people who are willing to speak, you may speak. If you don't get a chance, it's completely all right. In your plan of action, you may add all those points that you may have missed out or something you want to highlight. You can add it in the plan of action. Yeah, Sushim, you have a question?
I would like to speak.
Yeah, just I believe like we have Avishi right now for the speech. Yeah. Avishi, would you like to speak or would you like add everything in the plan of action?
Anyways, okay for me, I've added. I can speak a bit of it.
It's your call if you want to speak on it or not.
I'll speak a bit. To revive our earth back to the way it was, we need to go basic and take proper steps so that we can get our earth back to the way it was. According to me, it should be done in six basic steps. First, we should all unite. We should plan, research, protect, revive, and rebuild. First, we need to come together. We all have understood that the war is no good. And if all the leaders come together and take proper plan of actions, we can get our earth the way it was back earlier. Then we need to plan certain policies so that no further resources are wasted, and need to research that how many resources we have, is the condition in the Southeast Asia livable, and other researches of the number of animals left, plant species that are remaining, so that we can plan our actions accordingly. Then we need to make a protection system. We can have certain suits, provided that we have immense technology and brilliant brains. We can design suits which, the way we used to have when we go to the space, we can have a proper suit which provides us oxygen that can be generated in the bunker itself through agriculture and planting more trees, and then a proper suit so that our skin is not exposed to the radiation if we go out, because we cannot stay in the bunker forever. And then we need to revive what's already gone. We can have our help from our fellow inhabitants on Mars for some technology and resources, and build a certain device which can slowly absorb all the harmful radiations. With the help of our robots and manpower, we can plant more trees so that oxygen replaces all these harmful gases. Then we need to rebuild. Once the environment starts improving, we can have a societies built back together. We need to focus on not wasting our resources. Thus, these sustainable societies can be made on the basis of solar energy, entirely powered by solar electricity. We can have water being purified, because global warming have already deposited a lot of water in our seas. As mentioned earlier, we can purify this water and provide it to the people. We need not look into our own benefits, that what will I get, what will I be paid for, but we need to work together for the environment. If all of us do this, in the matter of a few decades, we will be able to get our earth the way it was and not cause any further harm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The next speaker we have is Madhav.
Sir, I have a question.
Due to time constraint, could you keep it in the chat box?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Madhav, you may speak.
Good morning, everyone. I like to I like to propose my argument. So, what I think about what will play a major role in solving this problem is technology. So, I'll break down my speech into long-term and short-term solution. We should consider moving human beings from compound cells to bunkers prepared for occasions like this by making people aware about their nearby bunkers. And for long-term solution, I think we were proposing that human survival on Mars with complex life support system, and we can try to develop it on Earth as well once we find suitable resources and energy. But it isn't possible for everyone to have the resources. So for them, we can start immigrant plans and start expenditures to find more suitable environment. Today it is day zero and the future starts now. And for expenditures, I propose that we could use AI, GPS, and other technologies. Now, I would like to add about future policies. So the work of UN was to maintain peace, which it was doing good. But now that it has failed, I propose that we should decentralize the power of UN. We can try connecting people at local level, and for this also we can use technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next speaker that we have is Siddhansh.
Actually, I have a doubt. Is there a word limit for the plan of action or such?
No word limit.
No word limit. And like, what's the expected, like, is there any recommended constraint, like how many words it should be?
No, nothing like that.
Nothing?
It's free flow of thought. Yeah, whatever you
thank
feel
you.
should be added, everything you can add.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Siddhansh, you may speak.
Thank you for the recognition, Chair. When a calamity breaks out, it is not bound by sociological borders. With this, I would like to direct our attention to the situation we're in now. We as a whole are facing this situation, and this situation is not only limited to people of a particular culture, a particular social background or such. Therefore, the first priority is the relocation of people. The 22% of land which we have left has plenty of geographical resources, and the advancement of technology that we have seen has significantly affected our ability in doing so. We also Apart from the resources that we have on land, we can also direct our attention towards the resources that we have sent to space. Our satellite positioning systems can pinpoint the condition of land that is uh, the condition of land that is right now being uh, that it is in right now. And apart from this, sanitation and decontamination drives can be carried out on a particular day every week. Drones can be used to map terrain and locate people who might have been missed during a survey. Apart from this, the technological advancements that we've seen now can be used to train people in fields such as science and technology, so that we may have advancement and we may be successful in providing people what they deserve. Our first need as policymakers is to look towards the people. Therefore, they need to be organized in groups. People like scientists and those who have physical training and may be engaged in military services in the past need to be organized in groups and need to be carried out for surveys and look for survivors that we may have missed. Apart from this, women and children need to stay together, and children need to be educated regularly. And we as a whole have to look towards the betterment of the people that we're in charge of. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next speaker we have is Ananya.
Thank you for the recognition. I feel that the first step that we should take is to abolish nationality and all other forms of discrimination or division between people. Equality should be the base of our new society. Collecting and rationing of food and water and other supplies should be done to prevent riot and management. All able people must do any work that they are capable of, with schedule and work being distributed by the ruling committee. Everyone from leaders to common people should be included in this. Collecting all able people must do any work. Large shelters for agriculture will have to be built because radioactive rain is a big threat, as the monsoon that rains over Southeast Asia comes from the monsoon wind from the other parts of the world, which are most likely under nuclear radiation. Food and meals should be regulated, nutrition for every person while reducing the wastage of food. Small selected radiation cleanup groups should be formed to make our surrounding areas habitable. We should send out solar-powered drone to inspect the areas for survivor or surviving resources. To rescue the survivors and the resources that can't be picked up by drone, a selected team should be sent. The resources in the area for
I believe your voice is
crisis.
cracking.
Could
you repeat your last sentence?
Audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, as I was, clink should be done in every possible case. We should also hold ourselves to the ideas from the previous world which we hadn't, like equality and sustainability. We should also not blame any person for the current crisis that we are in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have our last speaker, Sushim.
Yes.
Yeah, you may take the floor.
Are able to see me?
Yeah, we are.
So good afternoon all change brings stress. Today, a colossal 120 million people globally need aid just to survive as a result of violence and conflict. Some countries are synonymous with suffering. Improper hazard leak contaminates surface water and groundwater supplies and harmful water pollution and can also be a source of dangerous land pollution. We can deploy strategies like how to reduce the hazardous waste to make groups to deal with the crisis. We can use rainwater harvesting. We can also use hazardous waste management practice. We can also do recycling of wastewater and continuously use 4 Rs to that are reduce, reuse, and recycle and rethink. Spirit of cooperation and teamwork to emulate the principle of unity. We can use sustainable actions, harnessing opportunities and preventing the harmful effects and addressing the traumas that are not visible to us easily. Without following laws, nothing is correct, concrete can be achieved. Hence, following the laws is a must. The famine action mechanism developed by the World Bank, Google, Amazon, the World Food Program, and the International Committee of the Red Cross is a potential game-changing idea, pooling new perspectives and expertise to tackle an old and life-threatening
Okay, thank you so much. So I believe we have exhausted our list. So thank you so much for joining in, this group discussion. So I believe Priyansh, you may take over.
Right. Thank you, sir. It was actually really great hearing all of your thoughts. If everyone could turn on their camera. Yeah. I'll be waiting for some cameras to turn on actually. That's very great. Now, all the participants here who haven't seen the WhatsApp group, it's just to inform you that I have sent a message there which states on how you are requested to submit your plan of action. It is via WhatsApp DM to personally to me, and then I'll be marking them along, and then they'll be marked, right? Now, I'll also be sharing my phone number here down the chat box. Now, since we are at the end of the committee, I would very well request Mr. Divyam Goel sir to please address the committee and give the feedback.
Amazing. Thanks, Priyansh, for that. I think this was a very healthy debate of ideas and solutions on how we can tackle a crisis situation like this in, suppose, 400 years from now. And obviously, there could be lots of tech innovations, as many of you mentioned. There were many ideas which we can explore, going to Antarctica, Mars exploration. I think there was a mention of that in the chat box. I feel that all of you students are doing extremely well, and I'm assuming that it was possibly the first or the second time when most of you would have participated in an MUN format like this, and a discussion like this would always go a very, very long way in your upcoming professional life, considering that most of you would be heading on to your colleges in the upcoming 1 or 2 years. And obviously, whenever you head into a university or a college, there would be a professional MUN society. I myself was a part of one in my first and second year of college, and it's an amazing experience, and would recommend all of you to actually get your hands dirty with that one, because it could potentially be one of the memorable experiences of your college life. But yeah, apart from that, I feel the committee today, I personally enjoyed hearing all of your ideas a lot, and learning about what we can do 400 to the COVID times, and the fact that we're actually living in that time right now. But some people also did mention that we have already moved past that, and yeah, we can learn from that situation. So that was a really good point. And yeah, I think we'll be getting together with the co-hosts of this meeting, and we'll be getting back to you with the results very soon. Yep. Thank you so much, Priyansh, and thank you, Nitin, and everybody who has been organizing this event and have invited me to this event alongside you.
Thank you. There's a great opportunity for us to have you on stage today. And on behalf of the whole Orion Square, I would would like to present a heartful thank to you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ahead, I would request Sai sir to please go on with the proceeding. Okay, till we have Sai sir back here, guys, I guess we were continuing with the random introduction. So first of all, एक बार एक काम करते हैं, थोड़ा सा light कर देते हैं. It was really a little tense.
Actually, are we gonna give our closing statement?
Yes, yes. Sir, closing statements, we would have accepted them, but again, the issue of time constraint was a major. I hope it's okay.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Yeah. Till then, let's lighten up the mood a little and let's go ahead with a very short introduction, which will be followed by a little break for each and every one of you. How does that sound? Works? चलो, उसके लिए सबसे पहले एक चीज चाहिए मुझे कि सब कैमरास ऑन होने चाहिए यहाँ पे. That is only how an introduction works. आवाज सुन के नहीं होता introduction किसी का. Cameras. Thanks a lot. चलो. I'll give my introduction फिर से एक बार ताकि it motivates the crowd. So, hello everyone. My name is Priyansh Chauhan. I'm a grade 11th commerce student residing in New Delhi, Rohini. And I haven't decided what career path to choose yet, but I'm looking forward to becoming a lawyer. And one of my major hobbies is working for NGOs, doing social work, which I've been doing from the past 4 years alongside my mother, alongside different ventures which have been present there. I've also been an MUNer. I've also learned how to play musical instruments. I also know to cook. I graphic design a little and do a little bit of each and every stuff there, here and there. So that is me. I'm curious to know about each and every one of you. So who would like to take this?
Priyansh just would like to on this forum, and if everybody is introducing themselves, could also mention that. Would love to know which school you're from.
My school is a little unknown. It's Vikas Bharati Public School. It's in Rohini, New Delhi.
No, I've heard of that school. I have some friends from, like, when I was back in 11th grade. Yeah,
that's really.
So, sir, how many months have you attended?
I have attended a fair amount of above 50.
Above 50.
I haven't counted much, but yeah.
Even I am a fellow manner.
Well, that's great to have you here. MNs are everywhere. No. Someone raised their hand, I guess.
Yes, are you done with your introduction?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Rajkotwala. I'm 14 years old. I study in Gitanjali Devshala. I'm in 9th grade. And I've always wanted to debate and talk about issues, raise awareness, but I've never really taken part in any competitions in my school or anything, because I've never really and I really wanted to, but in my school. So it's really nice that I got an opportunity to do it here. So it's really great, and it's very nice for me to express myself. Thank you.
That's really great, and I hope you get many opportunities once you enter the college and this whole COVID situation is over. Now, if anyone else is there who likes to go ahead next.
My name is Ananya Prasad. I'm a 9th grader from Delhi Public School, Faridabad. I love reading and writing.
No, I love writing too. I write a little bit. I write poems a little, but not very frequently. That's great. To be really honest.
Same.
Now, considering that it has been a little tiring for everyone, the whole 2 hour session, we'd like to shift towards a break till 1:30, and it's really requested that you stay here so you can disconnect your audio, turn off your videos, and then we can get back to you at 1:30 with the very same energy and enthusiasm. How does that sound?
Yes, okay.
And just to announce for everybody, on 1:30 we will be having the announcement of the top 5 after this round is assessed, and we will also be having a presentation. So we request all of you to be back sharp by 1:30 and just rejuvenate yourselves for half an hour.
The top 5 is going to be exciting, believe me.
All right, so stay tuned for that as well, guys. All right.
Yeah. See you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much, Divyam sir.
Thank you everyone. I'll be dropping off the call. This was great. Yeah.
May I please see the format of the POA once again, please?
Right. So the answer, I sent a PDF on the championship group itself. You can please refer to that as the format.
Thank you.
Peace, family. My name is Frank Antonio Lopez, aka Lumi of the Peace Poet process. She trusted whatever ideas that was her raw talent. She's an amazing guitarist, keyboard player, and songwriter, but also that she trusted herself in the writing process. She trusted whatever ideas came up and flowed with it, and that was part of the fun of writing with.
Bhumika, your camera is not working. Okay, well, in such an issue, then that's fine. Please try to see if it can work in a minute or so. Please try to fix it. All right, guys. So I can see that 31 people are there in the meet. So we'll be beginning with the presentation. The floor is yours. So.
Hi, everyone.
I'm sure some of you know me as Aam Aadmi. And for those of you who are not familiar with that Hindi term, Aam Aadmi means common man. And that's because what we do is what common men need to do. That's what we represent. And that's what I'm going to be talking about a little bit. So I think what I tried to do over the last few hours with all of you was to be one of you, to see things, to see the tournament also from your point of view. And that's what we try and do in the organization itself. At Orion Square, in the VONG movement, I am one of all of us. And all of us are part of the entire global ecosystem. So some of you might even recall the speech that Mehin gave. Our world as we know it and the future we want are both at risk. You know who said it? This was the General Secretary of UN, Antonio Guterres. The world economy has crossed the planetary boundaries of environmental safety. You guys understand the implication of these two very powerful sentences. We are at a stage in the planet where disaster is imminent, unless we do something very dramatic about it, very drastic. So once you understand sustainability, I think we'll be able to recognize that embracing sustainability is no longer a choice. It's got to be there. It's a necessity. So for decades, the political leadership globally has understood, they have recognized that there is a major change that is required, but they have not been able to bring about this change. You know why? I mean, despite knowing that this is going to happen, despite knowing that this must happen, I mean, some of us don't. It's because they've not been able to generate or garner enough political will. It's because most people actually don't understand this. Okay, you guys are the cream, who actually have a very good understanding of, what's really happening theoretically, or maybe you've been sensitized to some of this, but 99.99% of the world doesn't understand this. And more so, they are dependent. They're dependent on their very livelihood on this very unsustainable economic model. How can you cut the tree on which you're standing? How can you cut your own legs? So for your parents' friends, for others, everybody around, they're all dependent right now on this very unsustainable way of living. And so they're not even willing to look outside and see, how should we be actually living? What should we actually be doing? So the only hope for us to actually do something about this drastic situation and de-risk the planet and to elongate the planetary boundaries is if this new generation is able to step up and they're able to demand a change in the way we are living and working. Do you guys agree with me?
Yes, we do.
Sir, I do think a lot of change has already happened. Not enough, but it has happened. It's not like we are doing nothing.
Nishant, that's really the challenge. So let me go through this, and I think you will be able to appreciate and understand. Our goal in the VONG movement of Orion Square is to bolster the voice of the new generation. So firstly, that you are able to understand what the reality is. Okay? So for you to start believing that a lot has already happened and we are in a much better space or the trajectory is very good, you will get to see that as you get more engaged with this. I think what most of us understand right now is very superficial, what the media is feeding us, what the people around us, what the politicians want us to know. We haven't dug deep enough. We don't know the actual realities of where we are headed and what really is happening. We don't know how powerful some of these lobbies are. We don't know how much they are able. They are ready to sacrifice, for their own motives. There are things that are starting to happen. Okay, but this rate of change.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, Earth has more trees than it did 50 years ago. And plus, like, I'm not saying that we are doing enough. Of course, we need to do more. But like that point of view that we are doing nothing. Like we are doing, like everyone is just contributing towards global warming or climate change. Right? I don't agree with that. I certainly agree that we need to do a lot more, like reduce emissions and such.
Okay, so I'd love to have these discussions with you, Nishant. And yes, I think there are things that have started to happen. Greenpeace started to improve. There are a lot of facts, but there is a much bigger picture that one has to understand. Okay, that's why we are there. To have that understanding, common understanding. Share with each other. Go deeper into all of this. But just to give you a small perspective, yes, the greenery has increased the last 50 years. Do you know how much the population has increased in the last 250 years?
Yes, sir. Over
almost thrice the population that we used to have.
Siddhant, you're not even close. We have gone from 350 million to 7.5 billion in 250 years. And the preceding 1500 years, we only increased by 100 million. Okay.
It's because of the industrial revolution.
Absolutely, Nishant. Absolutely. That's one of the biggest precipitating factors. And there are more things like this. But yeah, we are going to be a little short on time. So let me, not take time from the other partner. Some of our other partners also are going to take the stage and explain, what they are doing. But our idea is to enhance the understanding of the issues and the concepts of sustainability amongst the new generation, and also to be able to develop a platform where you are able to voice your opinions and solutions to the authorities in society. And we believe that this is the only way, a global acceptance of the imperative of what is necessary, and to also be able to generate a collective investment for the transition to a sustainable world that's possible. How do we work? Well, we work by enabling the new generation to engage with communities. The judges that you saw, the domain experts, the authorities, through summits, panel discussions, debates, focus research, individually and in teams, and not as much like this contest has been. It's a continuous engagement that we create, and we go deeper into these issues. We inspire the new generation also to equip yourself with the necessary knowledge to make informed opinions, to engage in these discussions with the confidence and rigor, and be able to drive some sort of changes in the society. Not by necessarily having to do things, but by demanding the changes. We also manage several engagement channels on social media platforms, nurturing views and opinions, help them become more powerful voices for the betterment. So, we are actually hoping to promote a higher quality of discussions, discourse on the issue of sustainable development. That is able to move the public opinion, maybe influence some reforms, influence some policies, and bring attention to the implementation of certain programs, and be able to galvanize the society with a serious action and cultural change. So that's what we are about. Yeah, if you guys are interested, some of you have already become Wongsters with us. I would invite all of you to come and join us, become Wongsters, and contribute to this opportunity, collaborate with all of us, and make an impact. Thank you very much. Sai?
Yes, sir. So thank you for that. Up next, we will soon be letting you know about the announcement for the top 5, and after that, sorry, just a second. I'm seeing to have some issue here. Yeah. So up until the next announcement, that is, we will be asking you guys to take part in a small quiz until we can announce you the top 5 and we move on to the next presentation, that is. So is that okay, sir, or do we have something else planned?
Yeah, we have Miss Rosemary here.
Okay.
She'll be presenting, and if
Okay.
somebody from Plus School is here.
So
First,
Rosemary ma'am?
let Miss Rosemary go.
Rosemary ma'am, are you there?
I think Soumya.
Hi, yes, I'm
Soumya is
here.
also here. Yes, from Plus School.
Hi, Soumya ma'am. Glad to have you here.
Great.
So
Should
ma'am,
I
the floor
go
is yours.
or should I? Oh, okay, thanks. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, first of all, it's a deep privilege and pleasure to be here and to participate in this event, which has so far been extraordinary. And hearing all of the young voices and their ideas and creativity is inspiring. So my presentation will be centered around the organization I helped found. I'm one of the co-founders, the Global March for Elephants and Rhinos. And you can, I would like it to be more of a discussion, so you can interrupt me at any time and ask questions and challenge me on my thoughts and ideas. And once I'm done, I can also open it up again for questions. So I'll start with a little bit of history about myself. I was born on a small island south of our giant neighbor, India, which is you. And the island is called Sri Lanka and Ceylon. Many of you may be too young to be aware, but in the 80s, in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a violent civil war in Sri Lanka. And that caused myself and my family to move to the West and set up home in the US and Canada. My father happened to be an extremely progressive and thoughtful human being in the context of nature and the natural world. So even though we moved away from Sri Lanka and settled in the West, all of my spare time, any time I could find, I dedicated toward sustainable goals and conservation and the climate issue. That also involved the role that the non-human animal plays in conservation, which is more technically known as the sustainability and the protection and preservation of biodiversity. And my specific area of focus was elephants, partly because I grew up around both captive and wild elephants. And I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but in 2008, starting around 2008 and 2007, the poaching crisis, particularly in Africa, in Northeastern Africa, extending down toward the south, these animals were being butchered for their ivory. One elephant was being killed every 15 minutes, and that's not an exaggeration. an incredible number, close to 100 a day, hundreds and thousands a year. So surprisingly, one of the hotspots for the sale of illegal ivory was, California, a state in the United States, and Hawaii. Can anyone guess why that happened? It's okay to be wrong, you fail forward. So take a guess.
The rich people there want.
Go ahead.
The rich
Nishant?
people there wanted the trunks as decorations. They could afford it.
It's close, but not quite there. These were the tusks, the ivory tusks that were being smuggled, or crushed ivory that was being smuggled. So this can become somewhat of a controversial topic, but I think we must learn to talk about difficult things in a civil and compassionate way. So first of all, California is maritime. It's a maritime state, meaning that it's a port state. So is Hawaii, surrounded by ocean. So it's easy to get, well, quote unquote, air quotes, easy to get these, the ivory, smuggled into these states via illegal means. Also, there's a very large East Asian community there. And without, how shall I put this? Without pointing fingers in a way that vilifies people, we have to talk about the way in which cultural practices contemporary living. So there was a craving for ivory products, and there were shops that were set up in Chinatown that sold ivory, and the loopholes in the law weren't sufficiently tight to prevent the sale of illegal ivory. So essentially, the ivory was brought in and sold in these stores where generations of people had been selling ivory. So it was a very tough situation to both convince these people, no, this is coming from a live animal who is critical for the survival of forests. Can any of you guess why elephants are critical for the survival of forests?
It's mostly due to their size and their tusks, because when they walk, they crush the ground, which helps in the fragmentation of soil. And then they tear trees, which in turn helps the soil to regenerate.
That's a really good answer. And it's certainly a contributing factor. But even more importantly, they're one of the best dispersers of seed. And probably not as efficient as birds, but coming very close. And if you youngsters are interested, there's a wonderful paper by Dr. Samuel Wasser from the northwestern region of the US. I can provide the paper to you, where he speaks about this. So elephants, like so many other animals, are integral to integral to sustaining forests, and therefore both directly and indirectly related to the health of the atmosphere and keeping greenhouse gas emissions down. And the reason is they walk sometimes close to, hundreds of kilometers a day, even with their young. And they don't happen to digest their food very well, right? Let's say they ingest, large bulk, large amounts of food like leaves, trees, figs, branches. Only roughly about 40% of their food is really digested. That's why they keep eating and eating and eating. So what happens is the seeds fall to the ground and they propagate. So they disperse seeds around the forest. They're also architects of the forest. They bring down all trees. And like one of the contestants just said, they also soften the ground. I mustn't romanticize them though. They also can be very destructive, especially in the context of fragmented forests. When they have no room to move, they will destroy an area. So the earth was beautifully and wonderfully designed to have large intact forests, right? With beautiful corridors that connected them. That world now is, I don't want to say it's no more, but it is also something that we need to consider. So I see that I don't have much time. So let me go on to talk about the Global March for Elephants and Rhinos. So when the poaching crisis started, a few of us gathered in California and organized and set up this organization called the Global March for Elephants and Rhinos. Then in collaboration with several much larger groups like the Humane Society, we lobbied to close the loopholes in the laws in both California and Hawaii. Hawaii now has one of the toughest anti-wildlife trafficking laws in the world. California's enforcement system, called the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, has also done very good things after this effort. And then we lobbied globally, and China, which was a huge market for ivory, also passed a law banning ivory. But that law is questionable because there's still a massive and booming ivory trade in China. So that's where all of you come in, and I believe that together we can help, stop this or mitigate or curtail this trade by raising awareness, and particularly raising awareness that ivory is not something any of us want. Neither is rhino horn. Ivory belongs on an elephant. We don't need to adorn our houses and our faces and our bodies with ivory. So we were cited by the United States State Department as one of the key reasons that the prices of ivory plummeted in China. And to quote the State Department, people in more than 130 cities around the world, including Hong Kong, Nairobi, Washington, participated in October's Global March for Elephants and Rhinos. According to experts, these marches keep political pressure on leaders to protect the world's largest land mammal. So that was a really good thing, but there's a lot more work to be done. Our specific objectives are to fight to end the ivory trade in rhino horn and elephant ivory, and to mitigate and end wildlife trafficking. That's a big goal, and also to fight to end corruption in governments and corruption in local governments lead to creating spaces on behalf of crime, all kinds of crime, human trafficking, wildlife trafficking, all kinds of other illegal activity, global illegal activity. And then perhaps most importantly, to amplify the voices of indigenous communities, because people poach at the lowest level. There's the middleman, and then there's the end source, the target. But people poach mostly because they are poor. And so the problem is, how do you both increase the reverence for the earth? How do you teach people that you can really love the earth? You can really consider the earth as part of an extended part of your own body, of your psyche, of your family. But how do you do that when people are living in desperate poverty? So that's a question that is very difficult to answer, but it needs to be answered. And why is this important? Let me quickly give you some stats, right? Because my time's limited. So this is also where China is a definite problem. And when I say China, I mean the government of China. I don't want to vilify in any way the people of China. So at the top end, about 100,000 pangolins are killed every year for their scales to be used in traditional Chinese medicine. That's one pangolin every 5 minutes. The pangolin, I don't know if you know about the creature, but I would encourage you to go Google it, is the most trafficked animal in the world. So that's another thing. How do we sensitively, but fiercely, passionately, and diplomatically say, you need to stop using endangered animals in medicines that are not scientific, that don't work, that are destroying ecosystems and that are taking away the inhabitants to whom these ecosystems rightfully belong. So one of our big focuses is actually a justice for the human animal as much as we speak of justice for the human. I will leave it there because I think I've run out of time, although I can continue to talk about it literally till the cows come home. Our team is truly global. It's a mostly volunteer-driven team, and we encourage the Wongsters to join us in collaborative projects of interest that can both promote these ideas of conservation, and it goes to deeper than conservation. It goes to reverence. It goes to compassion. It goes to extending the idea of the human family beyond that of our own tribe to the global tribe and to a universal tribe whose underlying and sustaining ethos is based on justice and compassion. So I'll end with reading our vision. We believe in justice for animals and humans alike, a global grassroots movement that amplifies the voices of indigenous peoples is at the heart of both justice for the human and the non-human. Our vision aims at building human communities that see non-human communities as deserving of justice. Thank you for your time, and I'll take your questions on the chat thread and release the visual so that you can continue with your wonderful program. Once again, I want to thank Nitin and all of you for putting this together. It's just extraordinary, and it provides an avenue for young people who are the future to carry these concerns into the future in such a way that creates a global community of consciousness, intelligence, and reason based on science. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Rosemary. Sai.
Next is Miss Soumya. Please go ahead, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Namaste, everyone. So glad to see you all on Sunday afternoon, busy participating in a competition that talks about your commitment, courage, and the willingness to learn something new. So congratulations, everybody, for just being here. I think that's a big achievement in itself. I am Soumya Agarwal. I've done my graduation from Lady Shri Ram College, and then I studied in Paris entrepreneurship. I've been working in the education field for past around 6-7 years. I've worked in a company called Center for Civil Society. Then I started something called, you guys participate in a lot of MUNs, I'm sure. So we started something called mock parliaments. That was called My Parliament back then. And I was doing that for past 2 years. And very recently, I started an organization called iGen Plus, and we rebranded it to Plus School in like 3 months back. So that has been my journey, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you, Shubham, and Shubham has been in touch with me. That's why I know his name, and all other VONG SDG championship team for having us here as an associate partner. At Plus School, what we do, our focus is very simple. We're not doing very big, short things. It's very simple. We just ensuring that each one of you and all the school-going students can prepare themselves for life rather than only career and marks, because that's where school and other tuition centers are focusing. So we want you to look at things at a more bigger holistic level. And for that, we run multiple courses, we run multiple programs. There is a residential festival that we conduct. There are travel programs where we took students to South India for 10 days. There are courses, online courses on something like emotional intelligence, on leadership skills, on public speaking, on logical thinking. And these are all based out of our ancient knowledge. So you will learn about Navras philosophy, you will learn about Nyaya philosophy, multiple such programs. So that's what we do at Plus School. And I won't take much of your time. I think you're waiting for the results to be announced of our top 5. But I just want to say one thing. I think Sir also mentioned at the beginning. I think it's definitely your responsibility to create what we see, create the society, to create and design Bharat as we'll see in 10 years from now. So keep that focus in mind. It's very, very important to build your career. It's very, very important to be who you are and be the best in what you want to be. But it's also very, very important to think it from the level where you can contribute to the society at a much larger level. So see whatever you're doing, how is it contributing for the society upliftment, for the nation's upliftment, for your family's upliftment, and decide accordingly. So that's my last bits and 10 cents to all of you. Thank you so much, everyone, for inviting. All the best to people, to the participants. And yeah, I wish you luck for the ones who would win. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so very much, Soumya. We look forward to more such avenues to collaborate and partner.
Definitely. Thank you so much, sir.
Sai?
Yes. So Shubham, Neha, are we ready with the presentation for that?
Yes.
Can I go ahead with that? Yeah, sure.
Hello, everyone. And this has been an amazing journey up until now. And I know we all have been waiting for the top 5 scores very eagerly. But before that, I would like to say just one thing. All of you, all the participants who have been a part of this competition have given us an amazing time, an amazing journey. I will share my screen for the top 5s, and I thank you all for being such a support. Congratulations, everyone.
So congratulations to the top 5. And as Neha very nicely pointed out, each and every one of you who gave us their time here, who participated in the debate, the discussion, the creative problem solving round, the presentation and everything, it is highly commendable. The level of debate that you guys showed was also great. And it was very fun to have you here. And I hope it was the same for you all as well.
I'd just like to add to what Neha and Sai just shared. Just give Yeah. So besides the the winning, the competition, the contest that we are having, I hope you've learned more than what we came up with to this place, and create more and more opportunities, and participate in events, participate in processes which give you a better perspective about the world around you, the society around you, and your own role in it. I think that's very, very, very important.
All right, guys. So we would like everyone here, before you leave or anything like that, to stay here and let us know what you felt about the competition up until now, because we only have one round remaining, that is the PI round later. So anybody who wants to give some feedback, to share their experience regarding this event, please feel free to do so. The stage is yours. Is there anybody, even the top 5 kids, anybody who wants to share their opinion, their experience here?
May I share my experience?
Sure, Gauri, go ahead.
So I'm really thankful and grateful to be a part of this conference and this beautiful journey. And to be honest, when I registered for this, so I got the form for this a day before the deadline. and I was not too sure what to write and how to frame a 1,000-word essay and what will happen in these 2 days. But somehow I registered for this and I got the form from my school. And after I registered for it, I was added in the WhatsApp group and it seemed exciting. So when I was there in this journey since yesterday, I realized that it was a really great platform where I could present myself, and the people were so active and interactive that it was fun to learn from them and explore new boundaries. And that's it. I would like to thank all of you for organizing this, and best of luck.
Thank you so much, Gauri, for that. Anybody else with something they would like to say? Yeah, please go ahead, Nishant.
I would just like to say that this whole event was actually pretty well planned and conducted. I wasn't expecting it to be like so well. At first, like when I first registered, I just expected it to be something like lousy where half the people don't even participate. But honestly, this was like very well planned and very well conducted with your whole that hacking thing with the quiz and such. And there was those essays you had sent. The essays were I read them all through and they were very enlightening. And plus, even I would like to give a shout out to all the participants. I did not expect like such a like so many people would participate. I expected like hardly anyone would do anything, because in the weekend not many people participate. But really, this was really fun. Thank you for having me.
Great to know that, Nishant, that you had fun. Thank you so much for sharing your views. Anybody else? Please go ahead. It can be anything, guys. You found a candidate whom you made friends with. You found a competition that you love, a format that you would like to participate again. Anything that you would like to share regarding this event, please feel free to do so.
May I go ahead?
Yes, Navya, please.
So first of all, I want to thank the VONG team for conducting such an amazing competition. And I would just like to, appreciate the rounds and the creativity of each and every person who is here, who is participating. And the rounds that I came across, they were quite innovative, and it was a nice learning experience for me here when I came to know so many things which I earlier was not aware of. Secondly, those icebreakers in the between were quite required. So I appreciate those initiatives as well. And one more thing I personally felt was the interesting element was Aam Aadmi, so which turned out to be Nitin sir. And I had somewhat suspected that it had to be Nitin sir somewhere. I had this instinct. So that was also an interesting element. And thanks to all the participants who are here, who made this event interesting. And that's all I would like to share.
Thank you so much, Navya, for that as well. Anybody else? The floor is open, guys. We are not breaking into the PI round anytime soon. We have 15-20 minutes. So in that meantime, the floor is yours. Please feel free to share something. Was there someone who missed the talent show and wanted to share something with the team, something like that as well? Please feel free to do that.
It indeed was a really good experience, like hearing everyone's thoughts, the way they speak. It was really, I learned quite a lot coming over here. I did not even know it was supposed to be such a great event. I thought it was just an ordinary essay writing competition, but it turned out to be such a superb event where I learned so many things listening to everyone's view. I really enjoyed my time here.
Thank you, Aveshi. Is there anybody else who would like to share their views? I see a lot of you writing in the chat. Please feel free to speak up also. Bhumika, would you like to share your views here with everyone? Madhav, please, the chat box is fine, but we would love it if you could speak up and share your opinion here. Yes, Madhav, go ahead, please.
I would like to thank the VONG team for such a superb event. It was innovative, the tasks were great, and I would like to give special thanks to fellow mates for making it so engaging and interesting.
Thank you so much, Madhav. We would have loved to hear a rap from you that you said you would, but you did not. So we will remember you for that as well. And thank you so much for participating here. And anybody else who wants to share their opinion, share their views, a feedback, something that you believe could have been done, could have been added, please feel free to do that as well.
There was everything we wanted. I mean, above the expectations. So it was wonderful. I've learned many things.
Thank you so much, Anjali. And yeah, the point added by Anjali, the last point is something that's very important. Maybe we did not stress it enough, but we hope you had fun and that you met a lot of people and everything, but we hope you took away a lot from this event as well, especially in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your awareness regarding the SDGs, regarding why it is important to talk about these issues. Maybe you learned something from your fellow delegate, fellow participants who had some very interesting points with very different perspectives. Some of you brought in some very new scientific facts, which even I wasn't aware of. So it was great to see such initiative from you guys, and we would love to see more in upcoming events as well. In the meanwhile, the time is still there and the floor is still open. So if anybody would like to share something, go ahead. It can be anything, if anything regarding to the event, anything regarding your experiences. Please go ahead.
Can I speak?
Sure, sure.
I want to thank all the VONG team and for organizing such a great event, and all the fellow mates for interacting on holiday as well. I also like the SDG hacking, in which we shared a lot of knowledge and reading by those essays and answering them. And I also want to thank all the mentors and fellows. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Ronak. It was great to have you. I like your background as well. It's something very unique. Is it what? It's the Earth, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is very, very symbolic of what we are trying to save here. That is our Earth. So well done there as well. Dishita, first one. Okay, well, congratulations, Dishita. You are a true detective. And are you there, Dishita?
Yeah.
Yes, Dishita, would you like to share something? Would you like to share how you reached the conclusion that was so hidden with the name Aam Aadmi?
Because he was recording the meeting and he was also the co-host. So.
All right. Thank you for that. Please share your opinions, guys. This floor is open for you. Do you have any feedback?
That wasn't it. You told me other things also. Everybody had seen that. That wasn't it. You shared some more clues.
Yeah, when you opened the camera, I could see your shirt.
Yeah, that was it.
Guys, the floor is open. I cannot stress this enough. And if you have ever any opportunity to speak, it is this. So if there is something that you would like to come back to, then that is a feedback that we could use for our future events as well. So please let us know what your favorite event was, what your highlight was.
I would like to highlight one more thing.
Go ahead, Gauri.
People usually flee away to different rooms during the break, but the break was so engaging with the videos and the songs that were played. So that kept us intact and connected to the computer all the time. And that was the part I liked, because those videos were also giving many learnings and insights. Also, I liked the part that there were many activities which required us to take the initiative and speak out. So I absolutely loved all the activities we had.
Thank you, Gauri. Anybody else would like to point out the favorite part of this event? Maybe you like the GD more than the debate. Maybe you like the creative problem solving more than the SDG hacking, something like that. Please feel free to do so.
Or something could be improved.
Yeah, sure, that too. Any feedback?
Actually, I love the format of the debate, the initial format, but again, I said before also, if there was more cross-talking allowed, then that would have been much more engaging. And plus,
Yes.
my favorite part of the event was the creative thinking we had today. That was really enlightening and fun.
Thank you, Nishant. We shall note that. And as yesterday we said, we understand that you guys wanted more crosstalk. So the next time we'll put more time for that event particularly and allow you guys to engage in a longer discussion regarding those debates as well. Thank you for your feedback. Anybody else?
Firstly, I'd like to thank the VONG team for having me here. All the OCs, Nitin sir, and everything that they did to keep the event as enthusiastic as possible. It was quite fun here, and thank you for providing us something to do during the weekend when we're all sitting at home being bored. And each event was diverse, and the skills you required for each were different. So it was quite engaging, and the plan of action we had to make was my favorite part because it required to truly whack your brains and putting yourself in the shoes of a leader and seeing the perspective of a leader as to what they would do. So it was quite fun, and thank you.
Thank you, Sudhansh.
One second. So guys, you know what the VONG team is called? They're called the Vongals. Can you take a guess why we are called the Vongals? What do you think a Vongal might be?
So, voice of new generation.
That's VONG. Yeah, you're right. That's VONG. But why Vongal?
Encouraging people to speak out.
Why Vongal? I mean, it could be anything with the VONG, but why Vongal? Okay, nice guess. But Vongals don't solve the problems.
So just to give you guys a sort of a direction or hint to answer that question, participants who join, guys like you, 13 to 18 years old, we call them Vongsters. So any hint as to where that word comes from, Vongsters?
Youngsters.
Perfect. So from such a, think in that direction as to why people are called Vongals. Like it's a word that we have done a play on. It's not an abbreviation or anything. So think in that direction.
VONG and people.
Nice. VONG and people, armed people. Yeah, could be. Vongpal.
Is that it?
No, so it's not exactly
Nice
it, but
guess.
that's a very good guess. That's a very good guess, yes. So again, I'll help you guys along, I guess, in that sense. So our job is to connect you guys, to connect this movement with people, to connect everyone together. So
All right. So it's basically related to a dongle which provides you with connectivity.
go ahead, sir.
Is that it?
Yes, Siddhant. You got it. That is it.
Right.
Dongle,
So
Vongal. But there's another connotation also that we thought of later as an afterthought. It's like an angel. Yeah, initial idea was Vongal is like a dongle.
So well done, Vishwas. You found out what the meaning behind the word Vongal was. So now we would like all of you to again just share anything you want regarding the event here. We still have around 45 minutes. So if there's something you'd like to share regarding even about yourself, like how you came to this event, how you came to know about this event, why did you come to this event? Why were you motivated to come to this event? Anything along those lines. I know some of you here I can see that some of you here have been to MUNs, have been to debates, have been to discussions. but where's there someone who came here because he wanted to think about, say, SDGs in general, or you saw the debate and you wanted to find new debating competitions? Any such stories, please share. Chalo, in that way, then just to, make you guys or help you guys chill out a little in the remaining time, in the small remaining time that we have, I have some kind of a small question for you guys. So if you could just give me a minute, I'll display it on the screen and you can answer it in the chat box or unmute yourself. Okay, so feel free to do that. Okay, so before I begin, how many of you here, just raise your hands, are very active on social media and know more about memes and everything that's viral? All right, so we'll just do 2 quick questions because we have very little time. So this is the first question. Feel free to answer it on the chat box and maybe unmute yourselves and speak. This is completely for fun, so don't worry about it at all. There you go. Okay, so who can tell me?
Sinchan.
Perfect, perfect. All right. So that because it has been answered so quickly, we'll move on to the next one.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
All right, and who's the character?
Spider-Man.
All right.
Spider-Man.
Well, everybody knows their movies. Okay. Any Marvel fans in the audience?
Yep, right here.
Yeah.
Okay, well done, well done. All right, Nishant. Okay, so next one is a little more intellectual, but I think you guys should know this.
Meta.
Meta.
And what was it called before? And what was it called before?
Facebook.
This is Meta from Facebook.
And why do you guys think it was changed to Meta?
Because they are launching the metaverse, augmented reality and all that.
All right, and what is the metaverse?
It's like a virtual reality, a virtual internet, but you can experience it in 3 dimensions or such.
Internet, but you can actually interact.
Yeah.
Well
Like
done.
it becomes
All right, you guys are technologically aware as well. Good to know. So the next one is
A cat.
cat.
And what's the color of the cat?
White.
White.
All right. And is this the original picture?
No.
No. Like the cat is not there sitting on the chair.
Yes, it is. I think.
Okay, that's a bit too much meme knowledge, I guess, but it's
No,
not.
it's not. It's actually a boy in a blue shirt.
Well done. Somebody knows their memes. Well done, well done. So I guess this should be our last question, or maybe we'll go ahead. Next one.
Yoda.
No. More specifically.
His name is Grogu.
Yes. Who said Baby Yoda?
Baby Yoda.
Well done, well done. Are there any Star Wars fans in this show? I am personally not, but I know there are a lot of them.
Star Trek fans.
Okay, no problem. All right, we'll move quickly to the next one.
Among
Us.
Okay, I'm pretty sure everyone played this during the lockdown with their friends, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
The movie, correct. But which country has this scene been shot in?
Dubai.
And are you all aware that the experiment will be held there?
Yes.
Expo. Yes.
Where?
It was originally planned to be held there, but because of the pandemic and everything, it has turned into a hybrid format of it. So Expo MUN is part of the Dubai Expo 2020 that you all are aware of. So that's where the hint comes from. Next one. Okay,
I'm
this
once
requires
again asking for financial support, and the person is Bernie Sanders.
all right, someone who knows the US politics. Well done. Ananya, was it right? It was
Yes.
Ananya, right? Yes. Well done, Ananya. So the answer is, if people could not hear it, I'm once again asking for your financial support. And this is Mr. Bernie Sanders. He was one of the people who was in the race for the presidential elections in the United States of America. Next.
In the race of presidential.
Yeah. Next one. This is for the sports fans, if there are any here.
Lionel Messi.
Lionel Messi.
Right. Siddhant also a sports fan. Okay. And which number Ballon d'Or was this?
It was his fifth one.
Sorry, Siddhant, you're wrong there.
Fifth or sixth?
Sixth.
Nope, wrong again.
Fifth.
This was his seventh. All right. I think it was Ronak who said 7, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is the last one. Again, a little bit sports related.
Italy.
Italy, well done. And who did they win it against in the final?
England.
England. It did not
Well
went
done.
home.
Well done. Thank you, Dishita, for answering that. And that is it, guys. That is the fun social media quiz. Hope that was fun for you guys. And now I think we'll be starting with our personal interviews as well. I wish I'll let the candidates know where to go and when to go. So I'll thank you for being part of this quiz as well. All right, we will ask the top 5 to stay here, and the others are free to leave if they want to stay as well and tell us something about their views, etc. to the OC members here. That is also perfectly fine. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of this event. It was great to have you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Rana?
Sir, when do we need to join again?
So right now, only the top 5 need to be here. We will let you know regarding anything else in the WhatsApp group that have been made or through any other modes of communication.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Rana.
Thank you, sir.
I asked the top 5 to stay here and do not disconnect at all. Please stay here and we'll let you know what to do next.
So, how exactly will the personal interview thing be conducted?
Hello, is everybody here? Could the top 5 remain in this room and the others, I would kindly ask that they can leave the meet now. They're free to leave. And could the top 5 please switch on their video cameras? Yes, so I hope there aren't any other participants left here. Are there? Yash? No. Okay, so guys, you will be asked to enter the room one by one, depending upon the order that we specify. So it's just going to take 5 minutes for us to make sure that the judges and everything is in order for your personal interviews. So please be patient. And whenever we come here to call you, please switch on your video cameras and then enter the room. I hope the instructions are clear.
Yes, sir.
All right. So just to inform you guys, please make sure that your mics are perfectly working, that your network is completely fine, and that your videos are clear. I can see that everyone is visible. So make sure that this stays during the whole duration of the interview. Okay. Thank you, guys. Please just wait for a few minutes.
Sir, actually, could I be excused for 2 minutes?
Yeah, you have 2 minutes. Please go ahead. I'll come back, and then when I'm here, we'll wait for you. Otherwise, if you're taking too long, we'll also keep your interview in the last. So don't worry about that. But try to make it as quick as possible. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes.
One by one from the main.
You have the criteria without the judges have all the criteria with them?
I hope they do. Ma'am, do you have all the criteria? Yeah. Great.
Yes.
Ma'am, Rosemary, ma'am, you wanted to say something? I'm sorry, ma'am, you're muted.
Thank you for reminding me I was muted. I'm wondering how important the documents that we were supposed to get but didn't come through, and this is, just observation only, how important they are or would be in your estimate in terms of the interview. At this stage, I think it's a bit too late to get them and read
Yes,
them.
ma'am.
So
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
just go through the criteria you gave us and more or less, dig deeper depending on the criteria. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am, completely. The essays are a bit long, so reading all 5 essays, we understand would be a cumbersome task, especially during this time. So the topics that we provided to you that they chose for their essays, we would ask you to ask them the solutions or ideas based on that topic, so as to give it the interview a quick start. After that, you guys are free to answer them on any grounds regarding SDGs or your area of expertise and conduct the interview as you please. All right. So can I ask the first student to come in then? Neha, could you ask the first student to come in then?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Maybe could you give me permission to record also? I think I don't have that anymore.
Yeah, sure.
And yes, before we begin, I hope every judge has access to the sheet, the scoring sheet as well. And if not, Neha has provided the link in the chat box.
So one other question, I take it this is an open interview where all of us are listening in on each other, and then we score separately and you're going to average it out.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
One more thing. It's a total of 30, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The total marks.
Total of 30, and clarity and performance is 5 each. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, and so clarity and performance, the two criteria are 5 each, and the other two criteria are 10 each, making it a total of 30.
Yeah, understand.